Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Legacies, episode 406, titled You're a Long Way From Home, which premiered Thursday, November 18th, 2021 on the CW. I'm recording roughly an hour after the episode has aired, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. My other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I do apologize for my 405 video being out later than usual, but I'm hoping I'm back on track with this one. So with that said, let's get started with what happened in this episode. So timeline wise, I believe this episode, I'm going to say, is maybe the day after the events of 405. Yeah, I think so. I mean, the opening scene of the episode is them in the simulation box, so it's kind of hard to say, but we'll talk about that later. But I'm thinking it's definitely not the same day that we ended off with 405. Anyways, the reminder of the episode. I'm trying to think what would be the major reminder. I guess kind of the simulation box, because like the way the promo focuses on like them actually like confronting Hope, which they don't, is kind of the big giveaway in a way, kind of. I don't know what to put for that. But feature creature for the episode is apparently, it's a small one. I mean, technically it's Tribrid Hope, but otherwise we do see a Malivore monster, and that is in the form of an Argus monster. It was that weird creature with like a bunch of eyes that was guarding the Triad records room. I don't have much more about that creature. Hopefully by the time I edit the video, more details will be up on screen right now about what it does. We just know that it kind of like walks away on like a shrieking noise from the looks of it. I don't know. There's that. But let's move on to storylines very quickly. I picked up on 3 major ones, but the second one does have a lot of little minor ones in between, which you understand in a moment. Oh, wow. Sorry, I needed a drink. First storyline is Getting Answers. Second storyline is Super Squad Issues, which has 3 minor sub-stories in it as well. And then the third one is Locked in Limbo. So the first storyline, Getting Answers, deals with Hope tracking down Ryan Clarke in a small town in Georgia and recruiting him to help her get into Triad because she wants the records about the 3 original bloodlines that were connected in creating Malivore. Also during this this is when Ryan Clarke learns that Malivore is dead, Landon's dead, and that Hope became the Tribrid, and that she turned off her humanity. So there's that. We also find out that he's been in a 2-week relationship with Trudy, and it's the most human experience he's ever had, and he's excited for it. And yeah, by the end of it, though, he pretty much tells Trudy everything, including the supernatural aspect of it, and she is excited to learn more about vampires. Don't know how that's going to turn up, but there's that. Second storyline, though, which is the Super Squad Issues, is what I have 3 side storylines. First one being Stopping Hope, second one being Saving Alaric, and the third one being a new leader, or a new temporary leader. So with the first side plot for the Super Squad, we have them doing therapy box simulations about how they would handle going up against Hope. They've lost the 17 times that they've gone against her, where she's like killed all of them. So from this they realize that, oh, we gotta train, we gotta like beef up on our powers to go up against her, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But otherwise, while they're doing that, Cleo is looking more into the muse vision she has and trying to figure out what the tree is that is supposedly supposed to be the Tribrid's weakness. Only find out that the tree was actually on campus, and I think it's the very tree that Hope, Lizzie, and Josie pretty much brought to life through magic when Hope was still human. I don't know what kind of tree it is. I missed it. But, yeah. So, in the last simulation that Cleo does, she uses the stake, and it turns out that it does kill the Tribrid by disintegrating her. So, that's gonna be interesting. But at that point, Cleo did not tell the rest of the Super Squad until like she was for sure that it would work. So that's something there. We'll go back to it later. Second storyline of Saving Alaric has... Oh, really tired. Sorry. It's a little late for me. Long day. But so we have Lizzie trying to look for a way to help Alaric, and kind of wake him up from his coma. And she finds his secret compartment full of his journals, and inside those journals has a resurrection spell which calls for a sacrifice. Now Lizzie's willing to go that distance by going to the hospital and picking a patient who's already on their deathbed and using them as kind of like using them for the spell. Only she doesn't go through with it because the daughter of that deathbed patient interrupts her and wants to say her last goodbyes, and Lizzie can't go through with it. But because of her actions and how far she was willing to go, she deems that she needs a little bit of help finding guidance, and that's where she turns to the therapy box with Josie's help. So there's that. So now let's jump back into the whole new leader aspect. So as I mentioned before, after the failed simulation trials, the Super Squad decides that they need some training with their powers and working together as a team. In doing so, though, there's a lot of tensions between members due to past betrayals, aka Kaleb betraying them for Malivore. And so finding a new leader has been tricky. But MG decides to step it up and bench Kaleb from the role because you can't lead a team if the team doesn't trust you, kind of a situation. So now it seems like MG's in that leadership role. I mean, to be fair, I don't see how it could be anybody but MG, because like he has everybody's best interests at heart. He's always trying to think of the bigger picture and try to go in with a plan and not just guns blazing. So yeah, he's leveling up in that sense. Also with the tensions, though, we do see Ethan and Kaleb trying to figure out their new monster powers. We also have Jed being a little bit resentful towards Kaleb, which kind of causes for butting heads. So there's that. Now, for storyline number 3, with her locked in Limbo, we return to Landon having to deal with Ted and both of them not having the gold coins needed to cross over with Kyra and the Ferryman. So in doing so, they try to figure out how to get these coins for themselves, only to run into Ted's first acolyte his first time around, and that was Oscar. So they find out that, well, after some talking, Ted confesses to Oscar about what he used with the Necromancer powers, how he didn't fulfill his promise to Oscar, and in doing so, Oscar was able to get the gold coin he needed to move on with the Ferryman. And then, because of that good action, Ted got the gold coin again, and then he gave it to Landon to keep his promise to him of not leaving him behind. Because he did that, Ted got a new coin, so now they both have a coin, only to get interrupted by, which was the last scene of the episode, the two of them got interrupted by Alaric joining them and asking if he could tag along. So now that begs the question of Alaric being stuck in Limbo, right? Even though his body is physically still alive in the real world. So there's that, which will now immediately go into my shocking moments, was the fact that Alaric is in Limbo. I mean, yeah, in the previous episode we realized that he's now in a state of coma where like his mind is gone, but his body is stable. So I guess now we know where his mind is, and it's stuck in Limbo with Landon and Ted. So I'm kind of wondering, is that permanent, temporarily, like what's going on? So that's there. I also just realized I skipped a bunch of stuff because I wrote stuff on the back of these pages that I'm looking at. So yeah. So let's jump right back into what happened with my characters before we go into the favorites. So characters, let's talk. I did mention about Ethan and Kaleb already not having any control about their new powers. For Ethan, it's his invisibility. Is it really called invisibility, where it's like his whole body just becomes like completely like see-through, like can't hold anything kind of a thing? And then Kaleb with his fire breathing. I don't know if he has any wings or any other powers from being part dragon, but yeah, there's that. And then we also have, like I mentioned before, Jed being resentful of Kaleb and betraying the rest of the group. So there's that. With Ryan Clarke, I did mention that he was dating this girl Trudy for 2 weeks, works for her dad's company, and Hope tried to free him from that, but he says, no, I actually like the human life. It's what I've always wanted. And in the end, he actually tells Trudy everything, and she wants to know more about vampires. So there's that. And I also mentioned about Lizzie. That's probably why I skipped over characters, because I kind of already talked about all this stuff. But for Lizzie, we find her needing time in the therapy box because she's afraid of her going over the line next time without Alaric being there to kind of like talk her down from the ledge, kind of a thing. So let's move on to Tidbits. Tidbits, I did mention that Cleo actually keeps the existence of the stake to herself, especially after trying to find the tree and then finding it on the school campus and then testing with the simulation box. So we won't know if she brings it up with the rest of the team next episode or not. We do see Finch comforting Josie now that Josie is without her father and without her sister, who are both kind of incapacitated at the moment. We do see Kaleb lying about Ryan Clarke's call about the Argus monster. He lied to Jed, I should say. So there's a question of why that was. Another thing was that I did mention Lizzie finding Alaric's secret compartment, which held at least one of his journals. We don't know what the other books in that compartment were, but we do know one of them. Apparently, all these characters in the Vampire Diaries love writing journals, and it's just a matter of time of us finding them, kind of a thing. So that's something there. And also, another weird one is the fact that we actually saw a class in session or about to be starting at the beginning of the episode. Don't know which kind of class, but we interrupted during a roll call session, so that was quite something. And from like a teacher I've never even heard about. So there's that. Okay, now that we're done that, let's now jump right into top 3 favorite moments, since we already covered a shocking moment. Okay, first favorite I did have was the simulation box. Not just because of like we got to see what we probably hope would never happen with Hope killing everybody, but the simulation box was just great to see it in use, and just to see like them trying. It's, for me, it's like logically it makes sense. Like if you have something of simulation box, it's like you want to try every possible angle through the box before you actually go up against a Tribrid. So I really like that they're using that, and even the implied usage of losing 17 times is quite something. It was just great to see a different scenario. It's definitely misleading when they use that in the trailer, but it's just interesting to see them use their certain powers. They didn't use all their powers, and I feel like they could have used a bunch more of their powers at their disposal to kind of restrain Hope, but they're still learning. But I did like the idea that they're still using the box. Another favorite I did have was actually Hope seeking out Ryan Clarke, their whole interaction. It's very interesting every time they interact with each other, and it was interesting to see kind of like it being switched with like Hope being without her humanity, and then Clarke being the one to try to like convince her and such. It's kind of like the opposite of how like their interactions from season 1 were all about. Also, Hope's hair is slightly different, so it was pretty cool to see it be what it was when she was with him. So, and then it was just funny when she was trying to pretend to be like his mistress to kind of infuriate Trudy. That was just funny. I know that's going to be used for any like Hope and Ryan Clarke videos, which are always fun to see. So there's that. That was just a fun dynamic to play off with for sure. And just, it's always fun just to see Tribrid Hope, just like to see how very different she is from like the human Hope version. So I really can't wait to see Tribrid Hope have her humanity back, just to see how that differs from the human Hope we've always dealt with for the last 3 years. So anyways, the next favorite I did have was the Super Squad training. Just the idea that they were training in the obstacle course was something that was pretty cool. Again, ties in with the whole simulation box. I kind of wish we got to see more of them using their individual powers, and to have them make sense of it. But just the idea of them wanting to train and how they go about that was just pretty cool to see. And just to try to see where they worked together as a team and where they didn't. It definitely showed Jed backing up Wade and Ethan, whatever. And then Kaleb was trying to do things solo, which is not how a team is supposed to work. But then to also see the fun of Josie and MG kind of announcing to them, like, yeah, you're kind of dead in this simulation. So that was kind of funny. So there's that. Moving on to top peeve moment. The one peeve I did notice was that from the amount of simulation, or I guess from the one simulation that we saw, it looked like they were either trying to get through to Hope. I don't know what they were trying to do, but I guess like their chance is like to try to restrain her, and then she counters by trying to kill them. But I was kind of wondering why this. A peeve of mine was that the peeve of mine, I'm trying to make sense of it, but the peeve I had was that wouldn't they want to try to figure out how to get Hope's humanity back? Or was the main step of the simulation was just them trying to restrain her so that she couldn't harm them? Because then it's like, okay, if that was just step one and they're failing at that, okay. But if it's just them to strain them, I was kind of wondering, well, why would you not also do simulations of, like, how you would get her to turn her humanity to back off, you know? So that's a question there. Alright. Sorry, I need a drink. Alright, so let's move on to random questions. So, well, I guess the main one is, how is Alaric in Limbo? What does that mean? I mean, it will be interesting to see him interact with Ted and Landon, and just that weird dynamic there, but I'm, like, wondering, what does that mean for his body, right? So that's a question there. Second question, is this the last we see of Ryan Clarke? Is he going to have his happy life with Trudy, or the fact that she's interested in vampires going to be an issue that pops up later on? I don't know. And the last question, why did Kaleb lie to Jed about Ryan Clarke about the Argus sighting? I mean, did he understand that it was a code for where Hope was being sighted, or what? Did he not recognize the Ryan's voice? Also, that was another peeve I had too. I mean, the phone call. Jed was right beside it. Kaleb's taking the call, but Jed's also a werewolf. So yeah, he doesn't have vampire hearing, but he has heightened hearing as a werewolf. So why would he not have heard what the call was about? He was, like, sitting right beside him, you know. So that was a question. Like, why did he not? But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go into predictions very quickly based off the promo. What was shown? Let me scroll back down. What we see, well, first off, the episode doesn't return until December 2nd, which makes sense because next week is the American Thanksgiving, so usually they don't air anything for new episodes there. But we see Hope returning to the school. We see Josie wanting to reach Hope emotionally to get back her humanity, while Lizzie wants to kill Hope instead. Looks like the super squad are in various positions due to Hope being back at the school. And it looks like we see Dark Josie going up against Hope, because I know a lot of people wanted to see that, and I'm excited to see what Dark Josie will do against a no humanity Tribrid Hope. So we'll wait and see about that. But let's look at the synopsis for the episode. And it reads, Super Squad continues to work on helping Hope, much to her dismay. MG makes a last-ditch effort at helping the Super Squad, but things do not go as he had planned. Meanwhile, Lizzie searches for answers as Josie goes to extreme measures. Landon, Alaric, Kaleb, Ethan, and Jed also star. Okay, so, well, we know that it goes to extreme measures. It's got to be Dark Josie. But I really do hope that we see Ethan, Jed, and Wade being utilized more. Because for a few episodes now, it's just been like Jed and Ethan have been, like, part of the also starring part of the synopsis. So I really hope we get to see them play a little bit more of a part. Yeah, we got to see them be part of the training for Super Squad. So yeah, that's something there. I'm hoping we get more answers about why Alaric's in Limbo. From the pictures, it's looking like it's this episode's going to be like a darker coloring scheme tone. I don't know if that means, like, Hope is actually at the school, or maybe she's pulled into another simulation, or maybe she's pulled into a chambre de chasse situation as well. So I guess we'll have to wait and see about that for 2 weeks. But otherwise, I think that's pretty much it, guys. I don't know if that's meant to be the mid-season finale. It would kind of make sense, because usually, well, I would say usually is it usually the 7th episode that we usually go on break for? Let me just double check that very quickly on the wiki page, if it actually is the break. Oh no, we do have a few more afterwards. Okay, 409 is meant to be the mid-season finale, not the next episode. Okay, so we still got a few. Okay, that's good. So yeah, what did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think will happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, opinions about all that good stuff. All found in one place. while I'm mixing stuff. Love to hear all that. So down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page, link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all fun away, so go check that out. I do have to update that, fully aware of that. I'm still trying to get back into my normal schedule after the short film production I did last weekend. So yeah, hopefully it'll be very quick to catch up on everything, but also WordPress account is linked down below. Anything I post online is connected on WordPress. It's a little more organized, a little more detailed, but still a work in progress as well. So guys, that is about it. I do need another drink. I feel it in my throat, so thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back in 2 weeks to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.